I wanted to interview one of my Quantum Leap Diamond members here for a few minutes real quick, because, you know, as I talk to different people and as I do consulting, and certainly as we were hearing from everybody today, everybody really shared, often it's an internal quantum hop or a quantum leap that you make, right? Where you now find the courage, you now find the determination, you now find the perseverance that you didn't have at one point. And, or maybe you had it, but you just weren't accessing it, you know, and we'll hear your thoughts on that in a second. But as I was talking to Jamie, she was here at the Universal meeting, and I was just really liking her book a lot. It's just a wonderful book. She talks about a concept called, rather than saying something is impossible, her phrase is I.M.Possible. And it's just an awesome book. Author of I.M.Possible Muscle for the Mind, the power to achieve success when success seems impossible. So Jamie, welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Steve. It's just a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. And what I really like about your book is not only has this been a passion for you, not only has this been something that you have lived in different ways, but you also teamed up with one of the world's top neuroscientists.
That's right, Steve, and I did it at the worst, darkest, most impossible seeming time of my life. And believe me, I had no network into neuroscience.
Wow, no network, and you teamed up. So I know that's a story you tell in the book, and I think that that's probably a quantum leap in itself, just the fact that you were able to get this person who you never would have dreamed. In fact, you didn't set out when you met him, Brian Kolb, you didn't approach him and say, let's do a book together.
No.
What did you do?
When I met him, I drove the time I went to see him during that journey, I was so afraid because I was coming to him with a quote from Alice in Wonderland, and a story of how a hero became an underdog. So it was the reverse story. And I was going to ask him, look, I think there is a formula in here for doing what seems to be impossible even when you don't believe anymore. And when you're going to one of the world top neuroscientists, booked 2 years in advance, armed with that kind of thing, you know, there's the last thing you're thinking about is will you do a book with me, and then will you do more programs?
So you had a hunch that somehow in the Alice in Wonderland story there was a formula here that people could really actually use to...
That's correct. And it was a conversation between Alice and the White Queen where Alice said, there's no use trying. One can't believe impossible things. And it was in the White Queen's answer that I thought, oh my God, you know, I don't believe anymore, and I think that there might be a formula. She said, that's because you haven't had any practice. Ever since I was a child, I practiced half an hour a day, and now I can believe up to 6 impossible things before breakfast.
So you know, in the brief time we've just got a couple minutes, and it's a great book. What would you say to people who they've got something on their list, but it's hard to really believe it's possible? It might first seem impossible. What are a couple things they could do?
All right. The first thing, if I might ask you, Steve, is to have everybody try an experiment, because the I am possible is going to be a word in the lexicon. We do not have a word to describe the transition of something from impossible into a new base possible. If your brain stored something as possible, it may or may not be valid. If it stored it as impossible, it may or may not be a concrete fact, and your brain will not go to both places at once. So everyone who has ever done the impossible has done it intuitively. We realized in working with the neuroscientists that when we created I Am Possible and the constructs around it, we had also created a way for people to access areas of their brain they normally could not access. So I'd like you to try something. I want you to say to yourself, or all say together, I am a life-changing possible leader.
Say it.
Now I'd like you to say, I am a life-changing, I am possible leader.
I am life-changing, I am possible leader.
Can you feel the difference? Impossible leadership, possible leadership, or I am possible. possible leadership. And when you read the constructs around it, you will have a paradigm that you can repeat over and over and do things and teach things. Whatever you're teaching, you can multiply it time and time again, the efficiency for your clients and the people in your life when you have this micro formula.
You know, there's a thing that you teach that is, and this is indicative because you should go through, there's just really great nuggets in here. The one sock process. Talk about that. And because I think that's just something that anybody could use.
This is a concept that I came up with when I realized that many of the experts were giving us grand gestures like think positive and just do it, and they would give us, you know, the how-tos. But when you're in an impossible place, a lot of times you don't even know how to deal with the next moment. And if any of you have ever heard seize the day, one thing I learned in working with the scientist and in the place I was in is if you can't seize the moment, you will never seize the day. The power of moments. The word momentum comes not from, it's not datum or hourdom, it's momentum. I teach you how your brain rewards you in the moment, so that you can understand and feel the reward of choices you make in the moment and let it propel you to the next moment. We were designed to earn the reward moment by moment, and in doing that, gain the muscle to get to the next one. So if you think you can jump to the top or be helicoptered to the top, you will never have what it takes to stay there. So I give you the one sock process is a way to get from one moment to the next at the times you never dreamed you could.
And so the one sock process, this was when you were trying to lose weight, right? Or start working out?
I was trying to start working out, yes. And I had gotten into a place in my life where I was so depressed and so down. I would get up, because I couldn't sleep at night, sit in the easy chair and just start to go into a funk or read, which if you knew me, it wasn't me. And all of a sudden I thought, I'm going to put all these things that I was reading to the test. Because I know that if I don't change something now, all my memories for tomorrow will look exactly the same way they did yesterday. So I started by going, what can I do right now in the moment? All I have the strength to do is put on one sock. So I got up and I went out and I put on my first workout sock. The next thing is my brain, of course, I'm going to put on the next one. So I put on the next sock. Once I got my 2 socks on, it was, well, now can you put on your workout shorts? Yeah, I can put on my workout shorts. So I described the process through the book, and in telling friends about it, they'd come back to me. I didn't name it. They'd come back and they go, I used your one sock process, and I got this done.
Because what I like about it is sometimes it's just too much to say, I'm going to exercise every day. I mean, like, on practically, that shouldn't be, right? You feel guilty just saying that. I should be able to exercise. But just sometimes you just know you're not going to do it. But you say, hey, I'm going to get up, and first thing in the day, I'm going to put on one sock, an exercise sock, and that's my commitment. And I'll go from there. And you ended up exercising more.
You know, and it's so true, because when you think about it, when I'd ask people, what's the first thing an athlete does before he goes to a game? And people go, work out, warm up. And I'm going, you're starting way too high up. Just like a lot of times we feel, we know what we need to do, we can't do it. But when I tell him no, he puts on one sock. But he doesn't even think about it after a while. And that's like with us. Once you start getting into the program, you're not going to have to think about the one sock. You just do it. But you have to get there.
Well, I really appreciate your sharing this. I love this book, and it's been great to get to know you better.
Well, thank you, Steve. You are definitely an I.M.Possible muscle fiber that's helping me lift the impossible.